Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about why I think so many gardeners fail when first starting out and even a little later in their gardening career. A lot of people think gardening is a solo journey, just me, my plants, and a whole lot of trial and error. When I first started, that's what I thought, and that mindset almost made me give up gardening entirely. When you garden alone, every problem feels like your problem to solve. The pests, the diseases, the unpredictable weather. It's all on you. And let's be real, Google only gets you so far. But the moment I started connecting with other gardeners, asking questions, sharing wins and failures, I realized I wasn't alone. And suddenly, solutions came so much faster, and disappointments didn't turn into huge emotional setbacks. Having a gardening community, even just a friend or two, which was my first community, means you're never stuck. You can share your plant issue and they might have an answer, and if they don't, you can at least commiserate together. One study published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that social gardening, whether in person or online, significantly reduces stress and increases motivation. That's because we're wired to learn and grow with others, not in isolation. Now, I've been gardening for 35 years, maybe even a little more than that, and I've made so many mistakes. Overwatering, planting at the wrong times, choosing the wrong varieties for my zone. And in the times I had no one to ask or share frustrations with, it was frustrating and disappointing. But when I was part of a gardening community, my learning sped up like crazy. I stopped wasting time on things that didn't work, and my garden became healthier and more productive. And honestly, it made gardening way more fun. Your community can be in person or online. And I know what you're thinking. I've joined gardening groups before, but they weren't always helpful. And you're right. Not all gardening communities are created equal. I've been a part of several online groups over the years, mostly on Facebook. And as someone going into these groups who knew a thing or two about gardening, I was more there for camaraderie. I noticed some problems with the idea of most online gardening groups. Number one is bad advice and downright false information. Anyone can post an answer, but not everyone knows what they're talking about. I've seen people confidently tell new gardeners to water their tomatoes every day or never prune a hydrangea, when the right answer totally depends on the variety and the climate. And sometimes by the time the right answer shows up in the post, the damage is already done. The second thing is overwhelming and unorganized discussions. In big groups, posts disappear fast. You ask a question and within an hour, it's buried under 50 others. It can be really hard to get real help when everyone's shouting at once. The third thing is gatekeepers and harsh judgment. This one's really frustrating and I hate to see this. Some groups are amazing, but others have that one person or more who act like they know everything and shame the beginners. I literally saw someone say in a comment one time, if you don't know that, maybe you shouldn't be gardening. Newsflash, we all started somewhere. A good gardening community lifts people up instead of making them feel stupid. Another thing is too much theory and not enough real world experience. Do you ever notice how some gardening groups are all talk? People debate compost ratios for days but never show their actual results. I want to learn from people who are out there actually growing. Don't you? Good communities are full of people getting their hands dirty and not just their keyboards. So what makes a great gardening community? It's a place where people actually grow things, not just talk about them. Beginners are welcome and questions aren't ignored. Advice is based on real experiences, not just guesses. There's a focus on learning and supporting each other. And I've wanted for years to create a community that incorporates all those things, to bring together all of the community I've built on YouTube, where the comment section can only get you so far, and bring it into real life. And I didn't know how to do that. But I met two guys that did. And we've been working since last September to create what I've been dreaming about for years. We actually did a soft launch a few months back with about 200 viewers to find out what works and what doesn't. And a common theme among the feedback of these first members is that it's the friendliest gardening community they've ever been a part of. We've had 0 trolls, and our moderators have the easiest job in the world. Does that sound too good to be true? People are sharing experiences and meeting other gardeners who are in their local area. We're hoping to transform online meetings into offline meetings across the country and around the world eventually. One of the things that needed improvement was the amount of really good advice from people who know what they're talking about. And I'm not just talking about me. While I've had years of gardening experience and years of experience teaching gardening, I'm not familiar with every climate, every local pest and disease, and let's face it, I don't have a bunch of experience with cold weather. So we're bringing in certified master gardeners from around the country to be community experts. They can answer more localized questions or just questions in general. There's so much more I can talk about, but instead, I'd like to invite you to check it out yourself. The expanded and improved community officially opens today. I'll leave a link in the video description. Because of the way the community works, it does involve a small subscription cost. We've tried to keep it as low as possible and offer many different options so there's something for everyone. The cost goes toward keeping the community up to date, full of good information, and friendly. In fact, that's the biggest difference between this community and your traditional online communities. Keyboard warriors and trolls typically congregate where things are free. Even though the cost of our community is low, it's enough to keep out the troublemakers who are just there to make things difficult. Whether you're a beginner gardener looking for guidance or an expert wanting to share knowledge, this is the place to connect. And I'd love for you to be a part of it. So if you're tired of struggling alone in your garden, come join us. Drop a comment below and join us in the Next Level Gardening community, and let's grow together. I'll see you over there.